Alright guys, so we are back for another video. So I've seen some people ask me to make some map guides. So I decided that I can do one on Corrode, since of course this is the latest map that's been released on Valorant. And of course I haven't done one on Corrode yet. So I'll be showing you guys how I personally play Corrode. Of course there's probably other better ways to play it, but again, I'll just be taking you guys through of how I personally play this map on Chamber. So to start off on attack, usually what I like to do, I like to play more around mid on Corrode when I'm attacking, as it's just easier for you to catch rotates. So like, let's say your team's going A, I'd like to just like put my trip like I either put it deep just to keep this space,
A gift.
you know, for the push, or I just put it like when the barrier's still up, I just put it here or something. So usually this trip here is my most common trip when I'm holding mid rotates, as you know, it's just easier for me to place it down when the barriers are still up before the round starts, because you know, let's say the barriers drop and I do want to put it here, which is, again, as I explained, I do sometimes if we're having trouble just holding this area here, but it just makes me a lot slower on the mid catches. So I usually just put it there, put my TP at, like, I don't know, here if I want to push up a little bit more for an off angle, or just like here so I get a little bit more range on my TP. And yeah, I usually just you know, hold something like this. The most common smoke usually for defenders is just putting a smoke right here, but usually people do not do the good smoke, so you'll always, like, 9 out of 10 times find a gap here at the start of the round. Like, I can't even tell you how much times I've gotten a kill literally just doing this exact same setup, just putting my TP there, holding a gap in the smoke, and usually there'll be one pushing from you know, a link, kind of like this, or maybe like from top mid, they'll push down and you can still kind of see them a little bit, and of course you can spray through the smoke if you do see them. Vice versa, if I'm, you know, if my team's going B and I am going mid, I'll just trip something like this, again, just to hold the space, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll put my TP like here. Maybe sometimes I could push down mid a little bit, you know, check these corners. I don't really commonly push down mid unless we're doing like a split, because I just don't want to risk me dying. It's better for me just to stay alive and just stay on top of this box. And then, of course, like, playing mid as Chamber on this map, I feel like you're very flexible, because you can literally be ready for like any type of play your team wants to make. If we're, you know, if we're pushing B, you know, I can just either push up like this if I have the info that I can do that safely, or I just recall my TP back and I literally just join the team on the attack. So, you know, you can be prepared for a lot of situations. Same if we want to do like a, you know, like a rotate, maybe we can't execute B properly, I still have the mid, so we're completely good, and then of course I can join my team for the A push. So on Corrode, mid as Chamber is very, very strong, of course. It's even stronger if you're opping. Again, you can just do the exact same things with a Vandal or Headhunter. You can just hold the smoke in the gap here. Pretty simple. You can hold like the A-link push if you want as well. I do this quite often. You know, if the smoke dissipates, you know, you just hold this angle like this. You know, top mid, B-link. So on attack, that's usually what I do for mid. But if I do want to push on B, I mean, of course, it's a very simple setup. Put my chip somewhere like that. Put my TP here. Sometimes you might be able to, you know, see heaven if you just jump on this box here. Depending on how good the enemy smoke is, you could sometimes catch a kill here. I've done it a few times. And then, I mean, it's just pretty simple. You can, as Chamber, taking bomb is not the worst idea, because your TP literally almost, you know, covers most of the site. So if you do want to do like, you know, like an open plant or something, you can literally just plant the bomb and then TP back. Pretty safe. But if you're not planting bomb, you can actually just hold like off angles or something like here, because obviously the most common place for the enemy to push if they're defending would be going from, you know, A up to window here and then going through B link. So literally you can just hold this space here, and then of course if you're in danger you can be back. So on B, that is more or less what I do. So for A, it's a pretty simple setup, just like B. So you want to put your flank trip here. Put your TP just wherever. You can put it here, here. It doesn't really make a difference. And depending on how we smoke, so sometimes if you're, you know, want to push kind of like from yard and going into site, you'd put your smoke here if you're a controller. But if we're pushing elbow, you'd want to put the smoke here close, and then we just like full rush elbow. So depending on what kind of smoke our team wants to do, I either put my TP here if I want to hold a link, but if I am going for a rush on elbow, of course I'll put it here so I can get as much range as possible. So of course I can clear with my duelist, hold his angles and stuff. If you are gonna rush elbow, of course with the smoke here, this is the TP I would do. For an alternative, if you guys, let's say, are taking A from yard and putting your smoke deep in a link, I'll put my TP there, and of course I would just literally just hold this angle, like hold the smoke. Depending on what the enemy might do, like I've seen it happen. It's not very a common smoke, but the enemy might just put a smoke literally here. If they do smoke a link, just so they can walk out. So again, you can literally take pretty risky and aggressive angles as chamber with the TP here. So if there is a smoke, you literally walk in, maybe hold it, maybe catch a timing in the smoke, just walk out, you know, depending on how the situation is on your end. But yeah, so for the A push, that is usually what I do. I try my best to stay around A main, again, just in case, you know, maybe there's a flanker, could smoke my trip or something. I just try my best to stay as much as I can in A, because of course I can catch A link, rotates and shit. And yeah, it just makes everything more smooth, in my opinion. So on attack, that is more or less what I do as chamber. So we can go on defense now. Now defense, it's a hard one because I don't really play defense as you should. You should ideally play mid as much as you can, depending on how the enemy are playing. Like, let's say they have a Viper. Now, I recently have been in a game where a good Viper can really, like, you know, limit your uses as chamber, especially if they have, like, a wall that just cuts mid in half. Like, let's say out, for example, on A. So the setup I'd usually like to do on A is I'll literally put my trip, like, either kind of like this or maybe like this. And let's say I'm opping or something, I put my TP like here, or if I can, I'll just put it more deep in here so I can get more range. Usually, like, a Viper will have like a wall kind of just cutting the mid in half, and it just makes it so hard because they can literally just walk in this cubby and like they like just try imagine like you're just swinging here and there's a wall in front of you. The amount of off angles they could hold, they could be here, they could be here, could be walking up here. You know, like, you could swing and he could literally be holding this tight angle here. You know, it's kind of rough. So, again, depending on how the enemy are playing and what kind of comp they are, you will change how you play on defense on this map quite a bit. So, yeah, so for mid, let's say they don't have a Viper and they just have, you know, like, let's say a Clove or something. That was a really shit trip. They have, like, a Clove. I usually just put my trip there, just so I can get instant info if they are pushing me from A. I've seen some people do this trip, which is fine, but again, like, I personally don't like this, because again, they could literally just catch a complete timing on you. Of course, they can't push up like this towards you if you do have your trip here, like, from yard, but again, I just prefer having here, like, complete info at all times. So yeah, on mid, again, you can do, like, quite a different amount of TPs. You can put one here to get, like, a more deeper line. You can put one here to be a little more safer. Here, again, to maybe, like, be a bit safer. Usually, if the enemy team are pushing A, they'll have a smoke here. So, like, again, you'll have a smoke and a box, just to give you a little bit of protection. I have gotten caught a few times TPing like this, but again, it's just, if you do want to push mid, it's going to be pretty risky regardless. Like, this TP is not exactly safe. If they have a dash agent like Waylay or Jet or, you know, Raze, I mean, Raze not really played on this map. Not what I've seen, but they could, of course, but any kind of, like, really fast agent can catch you with your TP like this. It's happened to me quite a few times, but yeah, like, I usually just put my TP here, just, you know, like, swing this angle, maybe, like, there's one here. So yeah, that's more or less what I do for mid. If I do want to push A, though, I'll put my trip, like, somewhere like this.
That works.
And then I'll put my TP right here. Of course, barriers drop, and then they'll probably just, like, swing pretty wide on this angle to be aware of the op. So, like, I usually just, I very rarely, like, insta swing like this, because again, you could easily get just timing. Like, if they just wide swing instantly, you could easily, you know, get punished. But so I usually just, like, kind of sit on this kind of tight angle. If one walks to me, shoot TV back. Pretty simple stuff. Of course, we know how chamber works. So for A, that's basically what I do, and of course I showed you what I did for mid if I am playing A. For B, I usually just put my flank trip there. I mean, I'm calling it a flank trip, but, like, you know what I mean. Just your trip for info. And I don't know, I personally do not usually do this. I'll do it, like, sometimes, but again, you'll just find it very often there's just smoke in front of you. Like, again, you could just push out the smoke and kind of like jump peek the smoke. Oh, that was a really shit jump. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just jump out of the smoke, take a shot, give you back. Again, like, I have gotten kills doing that, but it's not often. Like, you could, of course, as well, go here. The only problem with going, like, top mid, like, window, is you're usually gonna do that from when round starts. So you'll obviously start here, and then you'll walk up and put your TP here instantly. Like, I don't think you'll have enough time to, like, walk all the way, fucking arch, elbow, put your, like, info trip there, and then, like, the barriers will be here, so you're gonna have to, oh, okay, like, go all the way back. Like, you don't really have time. I think you can barely make it, but you don't really catch, like, a very good angle here on anyone. And again, like, most times you'll have a smoke in front of you anyways. So again, I personally don't find like swinging mid from like B link that optimal. So usually what I'll do, I'll literally just put my trip here, and then if I'm playing B, I, you know, 7, 8 times out of 10, just put my trip here and I'll just swing the angle. If I'm having trouble though with getting some good fights, let's say like it's very obviously common, you're gonna get Silver Drone, Fade Dog, you know, maybe Phoenix Flash, who knows, you know. We all know Chamber is susceptible to util, so if I'm having trouble with the B main picks, I'll just take a more safe angle, which I'll just put my TP kind of like here, and then I'll just kind of just sit like this, like pretty tight. You know, I'll just try to dodge as much util as I can, and then, you know, take a swing and hopefully get one and TP back. Again, the TP is pretty safe, and of course, if they have like a waylay or something, he'll just put a slow here, dash, kill you, TP back, right? Agent's broken, but yeah, that's usually what I do for B main and B in general. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's kind of sums up what I do in this map. Let me know if you guys think I missed anything, or, you know, if you have any other things that you do that maybe I didn't and you think is pretty good. You know, we can all learn from each other. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.